Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the show. It is 8:30 p.m. It is Wednesday, April 8th, 2020. I'm Tom Lyon. Welcome. So first of all, excuse the crazy hair. I think we're all doing the whole working from home situation. Desperately need a haircut. Haven't been able to get one. So if you know of somebody who is doing secret haircuts, send them my way. No, don't do that. Don't do that because that's against the rules, and we don't want to do anything that's against the rules. So again, welcome to those of you who are joining us live, either on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever else we are right now. I appreciate it. We come to you every Wednesday. It used to be every day, but now we're doing every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time to talk about some business stuff, right? So my company, Lyon Global, that you see there, we are revenue folks. We help businesses make more money by doing less. Typically, how we do that is with a variety of digital marketing tools. And this is our way of giving back. So every Wednesday, we're going to talk about some things, teach you how to do some stuff. Last week and the week before, we went over a few things. We showed you how to build an e-commerce website in under 45 minutes yourself without too much effort at all. We also talked about what to do during the downtime in order to stay motivated. Had a couple of guests on and a couple other things. And tonight we're going to talk about targeting Facebook and Instagram ads. How do you do it, right? How do you target and make sure that the ads that you're posting are going to the right place? Make a little adjustment there. There we go. So there's a lot of things that we can talk about tonight, and we will do that. So if you have questions, or you have comments, or there's something you want us to answer for you live during the broadcast, or if you're watching this on a recorded stream, you can leave a comment as well, and we will certainly reach out to you and help you. You can leave a comment right on the video, and that's either Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, or not Instagram. Where are we? LinkedIn. So you can leave a comment there, and we'll see it live actually during the show, and we can pop it right on the screen there and answer your question right away. Or you can also text your question. There's a number scrolling at the bottom of that handy dandy thing there. I still don't remember the number. Isn't that horrible? We set up the number specifically for this, so you can text any questions, comments, or concerns that you have. Here it is. It is 585-648-8955. Feel free to shoot a text there. We'll get it. I'll hear it buzz, and we'll get your question answered. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you, talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. So I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready for a fun-filled evening here, and we'll have some fun. Just want to make sure my screen share works, and it does. Good. So more of me for a second. So let's talk a little bit about Facebook and Instagram ads. First of all, I want to apologize to those of you who are my clients. A lot of this is going to be repeat information. We do consulting and digital marketing for a variety of folks. But a lot of my folks also tune in and watch some of this stuff. Sometimes they watch it later. But so if this is repeat for you, I apologize. However, I'm going to treat the audience as if this is something that's relatively new. So forgive me. So let's talk first about the difference between posting a post on your business's Facebook page and creating an ad. Two different things with two different goals and two different responses, actually. So when you are just posting, let's assume, by the way, that your business has a Facebook page. You've set up a business page for your Facebook. It exists. It's there. It exists. When you put a post on that page, right, you fill out an information, picture, graphic, video maybe, and you post that to your Facebook page. The only folks who are going to see that are generally people who have already liked your Facebook page, right? So typically friends, family, people that frequently visit your business, people that have interest in your business, they've clicked the like on your Facebook page. And other people that those people share your post with. Putting something and posting it on your Facebook business page is not advertising. It's a good way to market your business. It's a good way to talk to the folks that you already do business with. It's a good way to keep up a conversation. But by the way, my wife said, hey, stop playing with pens and stuff while you're on the thing. So I gotta stop making noise. Anyway, using your Facebook post is a good way to interact and communicate with your already existing customer base. However, it is not effective in getting new customers, right? If people already knew about you, they would have already liked your page most of the time. So they already know about you. If you're trying to reach people who do not know about you, or perhaps do not know about some of the things that you're doing, Facebook page posting is not going to be the number one go-to that we would send our clients to. On the flip side of that, And I know, boosting. Well, we've boosted. We'll talk about that. The flip side of that, the other option is actually doing advertising on Facebook, where you are creating ads that don't even show up on your business's Facebook page. It's a completely separate thing. We have clients that run ads, and those ads do not show up on their Facebook page. They show up in the feeds. So when their target audience is scrolling through their feed, it shows up there, but it does not show up on the business's Facebook page directly unless they want it to. So creating a Facebook ad as opposed to posting allows you to target specific people that you want. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you how to target specific people that you want to target with your ads. So before we get to that, I want to talk about the difference between boosting a post and running an ad. And for the purposes of that, I am going to pull up, let's see, I'm going to pull up, I'll use mine. So I'm going to pull up a Lion Global post, something that we've posted on our Facebook. And I'm going to show you what the options are that they allow us to do as far as, creating what's known as a boost. I'm sure everybody's seen this, so it will probably not be new to you. But the reason I'm pulling it up is I want to explain the difference between posting and boosting, right? Hey, here's a little weird stuff. Wow, that's our live coming through on our live. How strange is that? That's strange. Anyhow, let's take a look at this. So this is just a little post that we have on our Facebook. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this little button down here that says boost. And it's going to pull up a few different options, and I'm going to get rid of that banner there. And what it does is it does give you some options on how you want to spend your money. Facebook is really, really good at taking people's money. They're great at it. And what happens, unfortunately, for a lot of the advertisers and clients that we work with is they're just used to boosting. That's all they do is boost. And unfortunately, the way that Facebook is set up to take that money when you boost is not, it's not the most effective way for you. It's effective for Facebook, but it's not effective for you. Real quick too, I'm making the assumption here, and probably that I shouldn't make the assumption. When we're talking about Facebook, I'm also talking about Instagram, because they're the same thing. They're not the same thing, but it's the same advertising platform. So just be aware of that. So let's talk again about the difference between boosting a post and running an ad. So we've clicked the boost button on here, and what we're doing is we've been given a lot of different options. What can we do to boost this post? It's going to ask for your objective. What do you want to do? Send people to the website, get people to react and share. And then it's going to say, oh, what kind of button do you want to put on there? Do you want no button? Do you want a learn more button? And then once somebody clicks on that button, where do you want them to go? Typically, this is your website. This is the site that you want them to go to. It'll allow you to crop your image, do a whole bunch of other things. We're not really concerned with that right now. What I'm looking at right now is the audience. Who are you going to show this to? And one of the neat things here is it actually, these are some of the target audiences that we pulled in from our ads. But most of the time, what you're going to see is this. You're going to see something that says people you choose through targeting. And you have the ability to click on that edit and do a whole bunch of different stuff here. So we're going to start from scratch here. I'm literally going to clear everything out. There's my Wyoming County peeps. Love you. Welcome if you're watching. Oh, it wants to, why does it want to do that? Oh, I have to choose at least one location. That's right. So we typically start, usually when you first load this, it says United States, and it has the whole country in there. So that's fun. Get rid of that. Okay. I'm going to clear out all these settings that I have in there previously. That way we can discuss them and go from there. Exclude. Cool. So typically when you open this up, this is what you see. You're going to see a map. You're going to see gender and age and things like that. One thing to pay really close attention to, if you're putting together a boost or an ad that's designed to be targeted to a specific age group or a specific gender, for whatever reason you would want to do that in the year 2020, keep in mind that if you're posting for anything related to housing or employment, financial services, things like that, Facebook and Instagram are really particular on how you target those things because they want to steer away from being involved in any sort of discriminatory advertising. So for instance, if you were trying to advertise housing, you cannot target it to seniors only. It's against the rules, and they'll actually not approve your ad when you try to do that. So let's return here, and let's say that you are a restaurant, and what you want to do is you want to get people in and around your immediate area to come to your restaurant. So we're going to leave the gender at all. We're going to leave the age 18 to 65. Where is your restaurant located? Typically, what people are going to do is they're going to type in the name of a city and state, and it's going to come up. It might not come up exactly. I'm just going to type Batavia, and it will be in there. There you go, Batavia, Genesee County, New York, United States. That's the example that we're going to use here. And when you click that, what it does is it automatically creates a 25-mile radius around that. Very important here. If you don't want to target all 25 miles around Batavia because you're looking for people that are in Batavia specifically right then and there, you can actually drop that down. You can click the little box here, and you can drop that down to 10 miles. In some areas, you can drop that down even more because by having a larger city, so New York City, Buffalo, Rochester, for instance, you can drop that down to as low as 1 mile. And it's a little bit easier to do that for your targeting because, if you've got a strong consolidated number of people, there's more people in a 1 mile radius than there would be perhaps in a 10-mile radius in Batavia. That's why they limit it to 10 miles in this situation, because it's considered a rural area, and they only want you to go up to a 10-mile circle, because otherwise you're not going to have a lot of people in your audience. So what do you want to do here? So we want to target them, right? We want to find specifically, and by the way, this will get more interesting as we go on this session, specifically when we get into the custom audiences and the ads. But most people, what they do is they leave it at this, right? They leave the detailed targeting off, and they create an audience based on this. Most of our customers, before coming to us and learning about the differences between these things and figuring out audiences, they just target men and women between this age and that age within a certain mile radius of their location. And that's it. That's the extent of their targeting. And by doing that, Facebook will come up and they're going to tell you how much money you need to spend in order to reach your target audience, right? So right now it says that if you're to spend $100 a day, you're going to reach somewhere between 1,100 people. Oh, no, that's for a lifetime budget. I'm sorry. We want to change this to a daily budget. We're going to change that to okay. So for $100, you're going to reach between 2,400 and 6,800 people per day for those $100. And that's the total budget for your campaign. If you were to add, usually you want to run a campaign for at least 5 days. So let's say we spent $500 on that campaign. It actually doesn't change the number of people that are going to see the ad. And the reason for that is there's not a lot of people in that market share. So they say there's a total of 28,000 people. And even if you spend $100 a day at 5 days and run the campaign, you're still not going to see this high number. So what I like to tell clients to do in order to save money for them is I like to drop this total budget number down until this number starts going down and find the sweet spot, right? Let me show you what I mean. So right now we're spending $500 over 5 days. That's $100 a day. What happens if we drop that down to $400? The number goes down, but only slightly. At 500, you're looking at reaching between 2,400 and 6,800 people a day. If you drop it to 400, it's only a 300 to 600 person drop. What happens when we bring it down to 3? At 300, 1,900 to 5,400. At 200, you're still looking at pretty good numbers. So what I'm saying here is that maybe for your first time doing this, instead of spending $500, just do $200, give it a shot. Now, I also know after working with some clients that there are people that no way in hell would they spend $500 over a 5-day period, even though that's seen as a relatively low ad spend for most of my clients. So let's use this as an example. Let's say that you're going to spend $3 a day over 5 days. So you're going to spend $15. That can still give you 240 to 700 people per day. Now, let me be very clear. That's not the number of people that you're going to have as guaranteed customers. A lot of folks get confused there. Marketing is the practice and the art of getting people to come to your establishment or call you or go to your website and knock on the door. What happens from that point forward is entirely on you in most cases. You can have the best food ever and we can get 1,000 people to come to your door, but if you can't handle them, or on that day the food's crappy, or you can't figure out how to take care of them all, that's going to be a bad experience for them, and that's a whole other conversation for a whole other different day. What do we got beeping here? We got something beeping here. That's fun. Let's take a peek. Oh, it's a message. Let's take a peek. It's nothing that's going to work, unfortunately. Nothing that's going to be helpful for us today. Actually, hold on. Yeah, that's not going to be helpful for us today. Spammers. We don't like spammers, but they are what they are. So anyway, going back to this, and just real quick, touching on that, I tend to go on tangents, and for that I apologize, but it's all good information. The first thing that we work with customers on, our clients, is your conversion point, right? Whether it's your website or wherever that hand-to-hand exchange is, with where somebody's going to give you money in exchange for the goods and services that you provide. All of your advertising and everything is great, but it doesn't mean diddly shit if by the time they get to your website, it's horrible, it's spelled wrong, it's grammatically incorrect, it looks like it was written in 2003, it's not updated, it's not frequently filled with content that's recent. So that's usually the first thing that we work with clients on. This, believe it or not, advertising is the last thing you should be doing if you're having some revenue issues, because you want to fix your processes and procedures and what happens when somebody does come to you. You got to fix that first before you start advertising. Otherwise, it turns into a complete mess. Anyway, moving on. So at $3 a day times 5 days, you're going to spend $15. They're saying you're going to reach between 240 to 700 people per day, meaning that those are the number of people who are going to see this ad. They may or may not click on it. That's the number of people that are going to see it. They may see it once. They may scroll by it. They may, depending on your graphic and your ad copy, they may stop and check it out, but they may not. They may just very quickly glance through it, but you're still going to have to pay for that, which is the one unfortunate thing about that. So there's a few other options here, but it's very limited as far as boosting. And then once you finish that, you click the boost button. It sends it to Facebook for approval. And then after you get that approval, shortly thereafter, your ads start to run until you spend the amount that you had suggested. That is one way that you can do paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram. The one thing I'll also say about that is, although there are some accounts that can do that process and end up advertising on both platforms, both Facebook and Instagram, when you boost a post as opposed to creating a paid ad that I'm going to show you in a moment, the boost has fewer management things to it. There's fewer analytics that you can look at. It's really hard to pinpoint what's happening with your money that you're spending, that you're giving Facebook. It's hard to figure that out, as opposed to having a business account on Facebook and creating paid ads. So we're actually going to go into, let me share this screen with you again. We're actually going to go into a kind of a sandbox account that I have here inside Ads Manager. And we're going to take a look at some ads that I have rolling right now for Lion Global. And we're going to take a look at some ads that are going right now for my wife, Claire, who again sells real estate overseas. I'm going to take a look at those and show you kind of how they're set up. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and set one up on our own, kind of a little practice thing. We'll do it from beginning to end so you can check that out and see how it is. Sound good? Great. I do see several of you popping in and out, both on YouTube and Facebook. Welcome. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have a question, a specific question you want us to answer, you can leave a comment right in the comments on the video, or you can text the number that's scrolling down at the bottom there, and we will answer your question. Cool? Cool. So if you haven't already taken the opportunity to do this from what I was showing you before, and you're watching this on a phone or you're watching this on a smaller screen, I would strongly recommend you make it full screen, maybe turn your phone to the side and have it automatically adjust so you can see the full screen here. This Facebook Live will be available for replay almost instantly after we're done here. So if you're having a hard time, if you're watching this on a phone and you are having a hard time seeing the screen, just go back to it when you're done and watch it on the computer. It's pretty easy. It's pretty cool. You can also put it on your TV if you want. I want to be on your TV. I really want to be on your TV. Just kidding. Let's take a look at this Ads Manager. So for those of you that haven't seen this before, this is Ads Manager, and this is Facebook's business situation. If you are signed up with Facebook Business, which doesn't cost anything to have a business account, You do have to be a business, though, and they do verify some information regarding that. You get access to a whole bunch of new stuff that's really cool, and stuff that will help you in your planning and stuff that will help you with your ad management. So I'm going to take a look at a few things. I'm actually going to change. I'm not going to give you a whole tutorial on how this works, but I'm going to give you a quick guide through some of these Facebook ads. I'm going to change this to the last 30 days just so you can see some of the numbers that we've been working on here, and have an opportunity to see what it is that's going on here. So let's take let's take this one that we're not running right now. It's a campaign that we did called Kindness, and we'll talk about that for a second. So inside the Facebook Business Manager, specifically the Ads Manager, you've got campaigns, ad sets, and ads. Think of these as all being a part of each other. What I mean by this is this. Facebook ads are part of ad set. So you can have multiple ads as part of one ad set, and you can have multiple ad sets as part of one campaign. The best way to explain this is like this. The ads themselves are the graphics and the text that are actually being seen by your users on Facebook, all right? The ad sets are the way that you customize and target the audience. That's who's going to see those ads. So once you create an audience and you create a goal here on the ad set, you could have 10 different ads that we're running that are all using that same audience, trying to pitch to that same audience. Campaigns, it's just a specific type of goal that you're setting. So in other words, you may have one campaign for getting more people to like your Facebook page. You may have a different campaign altogether for getting people to click over to your website. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this one. It's called Lion Global Kindness. This is a campaign. So I'm going to check this, and I'm going to go into the campaign first and just kind of show you how it's set up. So you give the campaign a name. This is, again, if your campaign is a special ad, meaning it has to do with credit, employment, or housing, you have to tick the box because it requires some additional approvals. And then it asks you a couple of details about your campaign. We're going to skip all this. I just wanted to show that to you. You're welcome to explore that on your own, or if you have questions, happy to answer them for you. So inside the campaign is the ad set. All right, this is what we want to look at. So this is the ad set. So I named this Lion Global Kindness Quotes. And we're promoting Lion Global, which is our business page. The lifetime budget, I only spent $25 on this particular ad. And we ran it for a couple of days in the morning. The ad was actually run on a schedule. I'll show you that. It was run between 5 and 10 a.m. in the morning because it was a, hey, good morning ad. I only wanted them to see it in the morning. And then, oh, I unchecked that. Better check that back. It doesn't matter. We're not going to save it. And then you enter a start date, things like that. But what I want to show you is the audience, right? In this particular instance, the audience that I showed this to was everyone in the United States between the ages of 18 and 65. That's it. I did not target this ad at all. And the potential reach has said that this ad could potentially go to 230 million people. That's a lot of people. But because I only spent $25 on this over the course of 3 days, it was only projecting to reach between 13,000 and 37,000 people. That's the estimated daily results based on this. Now, I want you to remember this. Remember this number, 13 to 37,000 people is the projected number of people that this ad was supposed to go to. All right, just remember that. So we'll talk about targeting in a minute, but let me show you the actual ad. Okay, so here's the ad. All it was, we just did an ad that said, good morning, have a great day. Was there more text to it? I don't know. I think that was it. Just good morning, have a great day. Yeah, that was it. We said, good morning, have a great day. Why did we do this? Why did we spend money on putting a little Henry Ford quote out and say, good morning, have a great day? This is why. And I cannot drive this home enough. Advertising on Facebook is great. It is a great way to generate revenue. It is a great way to generate sales. However, not everything that you put out there should be an ad, even if you're paying for it. A good example of that is look at what's going on right now because of the COVID situation. You've got all these companies that are spending money on putting things out there into the stratosphere, TV, radio, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. And what they're doing is they're saying, hey, we're not trying to sell you something in this. Let's just, we're all sticking together, right? So that's kind of what this quote was. But by doing that, you're actually generating positive brand association, because I got, I don't know, a handful of likes and shares and comments on this for people that are probably never, ever going to be a customer of ours, but it's driving brand awareness. It's driving, oh, these people are really nice. It's nice that they did that. They said, good morning, have a great day. Sounds silly, but it's very useful. All right. So let's go out of here. And I want to show you the stats now on these. Remember that number that we were talking about? Look at what it actually did. We did 53,254. That's the number we did. For $25 on this particular ad, we reached 53,254 people. That means that we paid roughly 47 cents per result. What does that mean? And again, this is something that we could get into. If you become a client or you are a client, you want to talk about this, we'll get into it. But per result varies depending on what it is. In this particular instance, we were doing a reach goal, which means for every 1,000 people that saw this post, that's considered a result. So we ended up paying 47 cents for 1,000 people to see this ad. Let me ask you a question. Where else in the world can you pay 47 cents and have 1,000 people see your advertisement? Can you do it in the penny saver? Can you do it in the newspaper? Can you send 1,000 people a postcard for 47 cents? That's not 47 cents a person. That's 47 cents total to have 1,000 people see your ad. Just saying. Facebook and Instagram ads are very, very undervalued because people don't always understand how effective they are, right? So you can track some things. You can track demographics. It'll show you your age brackets. It'll show you the difference between men and women that saw it. We'll show you the placement. So most of these were seen on Instagram, a little bit on Facebook, but most of them were on Instagram. It tells you how much money you spent and things like that, which is super, super cool. So that was just a silly little campaign that we did just to get some awareness about the brand, right? And again, let me go back to this ad set and show you what they were projecting. They were projecting that you were going to get between 13,000 and 37,000 on this, and we ended up with 53,254, which was fantastic. So that's very, very good. Let's go back to this and let's take a look at maybe one of these other ads. Let's take a look at this one. This is one that we're doing right now. I'm running for Claire. She is running an ad to get people interested in a piece of real estate property in the Philippines. So let's check that one out. In this particular one, it's the same thing. The campaign, the goal is reach, meaning we want a large number of people to become aware of it. Let's talk about how we targeted the specific ad, right? This ad was very, very targeted, but not as targeted as it could have been. She wanted to target people in the Philippines, specifically in Metro Manila, and also people that live in the Shenzhen area of China, because those are a couple of her specific target audiences. She wanted to target between 35 and 65. And yes, I do recognize that this is a housing ad. However, over in many countries all over the world, actually, they don't have the strict regulations on restricting who you show ads to when it comes to housing and employment and things like that. So that's what it is. You're able to target it by age here. But anyway, let's take a look here. We specifically target it by people who match, they work or are interested in IT and technical, legal services, business and finance, management, arts, entertainment, sports and media, architecture and engineering, or government employees. Taking a drink, hold on. So we were able to target these. And what happens here is her potential reach went to 160,000 people, which is pretty decent. That's a pretty decent number of people. Her estimated daily results are between 13,000 and 36,000. Now let's take a look at the actual ad. This is the ad itself. And I want to show you a couple other things too. We're focusing mainly in this live, we're focusing mainly on targeting. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But I want to show you some of the placements and where these ads can actually go just from the Facebook Live platform, from the Facebook platform. So you can have a mobile, so there's Facebook on the mobile feed, on the desktop feed, something called instant articles. If you have video, you can add them into video streams, inside marketplaces. This is, what is that? That's the Facebook stories if you have Messenger. But also on Instagram, you can show you, it shows you what the ad would look like on the Instagram feed, on Instagram stories, etc. But something that's cool that I want to show you that is not available when you're boosting is something called the Audience Network. Sounds pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to explain it anyway. Facebook, I think it belonged to somebody else a while back, but Facebook went in and bought the ability to advertise on this Audience Network. Let me explain how the Audience Network works. So basically what happens is if you own a website that has high traffic, news websites, sports websites, gambling websites, you can earn money by allowing companies to rent space on your website. Crazy, right? So what happens is there's a piece of real estate on your website that receives some code. And basically what happens there is whenever you visit that website, the website recognizes you, knows exactly who you are because of cookies and things that are on your computer. And it says, oh, this is Jim. Jim likes ads about Fritos. So we're going to show him ads about Fritos, right? So even though you and your buddy could both be going to the exact same website, if your other buddy hates Fritos and instead has been looking up books on quilt making, I don't know, throwing something out there, the ads that are shown to him are going to be completely different than the ads that are shown to you, even though you're both on the same web page, because Facebook is paying to rent space on that website. Why does that matter? That matters because these ads can be placed there as well. I'm sure you've seen things like this appear on different websites. Usually this little triangle gizmo thing here gives it away. That's what makes you realize that you're actually on a non-Facebook thing, but you actually are. Then you can see some banners, things like this. You know, so I say all that to say this: you can, when you're putting your ad together on here, it automatically just adds all these places that it will show your stuff, and it does it automatically for you. There's nothing extra that you need to do in order to make that happen. Isn't that sweet? I think that's pretty sweet. I think it's a great way to do some advertising. So let's pull up the charts here and see what we did for her. On this one, we spent $40.69 and we got 104,672 people to see this ad. So what does that mean? That means 39 cents cost per result. Isn't that awesome? So literally we paid on this one 39 cents to have 1,000 people see. I just had to do the math real quick to make sure that that it was correct, because that's crazy. But yeah, it's correct. We paid $40 to have this ad show to 105,000 people. Isn't that awesome? That's pretty sweet. Now, what you can also see, I believe we'll be able to see clicks on that. Let me go back here and see. I don't know if we tracked clicks or not. Nope, we did not track clicks there. Let me go back to the ad set. We might have tracked it here. Frequency. Nope, we did not track the clicks there. However, still 104,000 people for $40.69. And I go back to the same question. So we're going to say 104,672. Got my handy dandy calculator out here. So that is literally less than a penny. Well, it's significantly less than a penny per person. It's 40 cents for 1,000 people to see your ad. You're not getting that in the Penny Saver. You're not getting that anywhere else. Anyway, let's move on and keep going here and talk about some other stuff. So what we're going to do real quick is I want to show you a couple of other custom targeted ads just so you have the ability to check out something that's really, really super custom. This one is perfect. So this is another one that we're doing for Claire right now. And it involves a real estate project in the Philippines, but it is being shown to people in Japan. The project itself has Japanese influence, Japanese architecture, things going on inside. But we're trying to get people from Japan to get interested in the property. So let's talk about this a little bit. I want to show you specifically the targeting that we've done on this because it's very unique and it's something that a lot of people overlook. This is something that is similar to a term called geofencing. And let's talk about geofencing real quick before we look at this. What is geofencing? In a typical practice, how we would apply geofencing is like this. I'm going to use locations and restaurants that are familiar to me. Translate into your own localities if you want. So locally, there's a town called Batavia. And in Batavia, there's a lot of different restaurants, a lot of different places you can go to eat. Let's say you are Alex's Restaurant. Alex's Restaurant is not a client of mine currently. I have no financial interest in them, nor do they in me. Just putting that disclaimer out there. So let's say you're Alex's Restaurant and you want to target people who are going into the Batavia Downs. Batavia Downs, again, no relationship with me. They're not a client of mine, no financial interest at all. Batavia Downs is a horse betting racetrack / slots only casino with a few different restaurants in there, and they're all pretty good. Alex's is good, and Batavia Downs is good. But let's say you want to try to get people from the Batavia Downs to come to your restaurant for dinner, and you are Alex's. What we can do, or you could do, I say we in the terms of this is what we do for clients. We can create an ad that says, hey, why don't you come over to Alex's? We see you're in the Downs. Why don't you come over to Alex's for $5 off your entree? Just show a screenshot of this ad when you come over. And instead of sending that ad to everyone in Batavia, we can do a geofence, which means we literally draw a fence on a map around the Batavia Downs building itself and the parking lot and the little areas, the valet, things like that. And now what will happen is when that ad is live, the ad will only show to people that are inside the Batavia Downs or the parking lot that have their phones out and are scrolling. It will only show in there. Then they'll see this ad and say, hey, maybe we should go to Alex's, and they'll come across the street and go and have dinner there. You can target that specifically if you're working with an agency like ours who has experience with this, or when you learn how to do it yourself. You can get that specific. It's a lot of work, but it is possible. How we did geofencing with this project that I'm going to show you is a little different. This project, what we wanted to target, so the manufacturer of the new residential project in the Philippines is actually a Japanese company. And in Japan right now, they have multiple buildings with lots of tenants who pay them lots of money, who travel around the world a lot. And they like the brand, they like the luxury of the brand. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to say, hey, we only want to, even though this is for a property in the Philippines, we only want to show this ad to people who live in these towers and maybe right around them, right? We want to make sure that we hit those people. So what we did is we literally tracked the GPS location of all of these specific towers, and we created a very, 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 very specific way to target these people by creating 1 mile bubbles around these specific properties. So I'm going to pull this out and show you what the map looks like, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So on the right-hand side here, you can see latitude and longitude. Let me get rid of that banner. You can see these latitude and longitude numbers over here. You don't need to know those. You don't need them at all. But what we did, let's see if we can pull this up on the map. Where's the map? Where's the map? Sound like Dora. I don't know. Can I say that on a live? I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. Well, let's click here and see if it shows up. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to zoom out here. All right. It's only going to show us that one. Is it going to show us all of them? We might have to create a new one. And if we, oh, nope, there we go. It's got them. Boom. Okay. So Everywhere that you see a pin here is where we've dropped this little geofencing bubble. Most of the properties are in Tokyo, but several of them are in other parts of the country as well. So I'm going to zoom in here, and you're going to see kind of how we've set this up. We get very neighborhood specific here. And as you're doing this, you can actually drop this onto Google Maps and see the satellite image, and it makes things a heck of a lot easier to see. All right, so as you can see there, this specific, I'm going to get really, really close here. This specific property is literally this building that you see here in this gray area. And what we were able to do is we dropped a pin there. It does a minimum of a 1 mile radius, which kind of sucks. But for purposes of this, we want to capture all those people. So we're going to leave that, right? We're going to leave that. So we did a 1 mile radius around all of the properties that this specific company owns in Japan. So they own some of their properties here. These are the ones where they've got people staying that have either leased or bought properties in this specific company's buildings. And then we added interest, people who are interested in the buildings themselves. It's owned by a company called Isetan Mitsukoshi. I can't say it correctly. And then Nomura Securities. And what they do, they're two separate companies. One is like a retail giant, and one is an investment firm that came together and created these properties or whatever. So we did that. Anyway, what that did is that gave us a potential reach of 140,000 people. But even though that's a small number, that's a quality number. Because you know now that the people that are in this audience are exactly the people that you want to talk to. They're exactly the type of people that you want to see. Let me show you the ad. The ad itself is a video, and the video shows information about the property. And we put in the ad text itself, the ad is partially in English and partially in Japanese. I was about ready to say Korean. Why would we show a Korean ad to somebody who's in Japan? That's a little weird, right? But anyway, and believe it or not, she's gotten some pretty good results from this. Now, the difference between running something like this and running just a show it to everyone ad is the show it to everyone ad. You're going to get a bunch of people in your inbox that are not buyers. You're going to get people that are clicking and quite frankly, wasting your time that are not buyers. Every single person that has responded to her on this, on a message or a like or whatever, is somebody who's qualified to buy. As I mentioned earlier, what happens once they knock on your door and say, hey, I'm interested, is on you. That's not on us. But now you're getting qualified leads, so to speak, by targeting your specific audience, okay? What I want to do real quick, though, is I want to show you how we would do a geofencing on this if we wanted to. So I'm actually going to copy this ad set so we don't mess up the one that's there right now. I'm actually going to put this in a sandbox campaign. Not the existing campaign. Yeah, we'll do a new. We'll do the sandbox. We'll just type sandbox. Cool. So it's going to duplicate this ad set, and it's going to put it in a sandbox campaign for us. So let's go back and find that. And by sandbox, that's just a technical term for a place for us to play. Where'd it go? Campaign, sandbox, ad set. Good, there it is. So let's play with it. What I want to do is I want to show you a little bit more about this geofencing. Okay, so let's go back to this whole 1 mile out situation. Okay, let's say you wanted to get really, really specific. Okay, so we've got this 1 mile around this Nagoya property, and we know that that property sits right where that bubble is, right where that pin is. So if we want to get hyper specific and say, hey, you know what? I don't want all this stuff that's even inside this 1 mile bubble. I only want them right in here. This is where the geofencing comes in, okay? So this is what we would do. We would change this to exclude, and we're literally going to create a bubble sunflower around this. So here's a pin. We're going to create a 1 mile bubble. We're going to say right there. We're going to drop that pin, and again, we're going to change it down to a 1 mile. Up. Okay. And you can see now how it came right up to the line of that specific. Let me get rid of this. It came right up to the line of where that property is. Good. That's what we want. We don't want we don't want all the stuff in red, only right there. So let's do this again. We would do the same thing a few times, right? I might come out a little bit more here and bop it there. And again, we got to change it to a 1 miler. Same thing again. So you can see the idea here. The idea here is to, yes, say include this, but then to drop these exclusion pins here to say, no, do not include this. And you're literally creating a geographical fence around who exactly you want to target. So this is how we would target the Batavia Downs in that example that I gave. You know, you could literally target, and you can zoom way, way, way in on this, and you can see, you know, so we could have come in a little closer here, but you can see how if you just create some bubbles of exclusion around it, now what you, oh, let me get rid of that banner. You create bubbles of exclusion all the way around it, and you just leave that little spot open, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what you can do with that. So, yeah. So I'm going to do 2 examples here for you. Okay, we're going to do 2 different examples of customization. I'm sorry, 2 different examples of targeting specific folks. One of our clients is a limousine company, and they specifically target folks who are getting married because it's a big, big, big moneymaker for them. So one of the things that you can do is you actually have the ability to target people based on their relationship status. Did you know that? It's pretty cool and it's pretty effective. Specifically, if you work with weddings, you're a florist, you're a limo provider, you're a, I don't know, wedding invitation person, you're a wedding venue, right? You're a caterer, you're a tuxedo place, you are a whatever. Weddings are big business, and unfortunately, people that have wedding-related businesses don't target correctly. It drives me out of my mind. So we're going to go through an actual, we're going to create an ad set and check out how we can specifically target a wonderful set of folks who might be looking for wedding transportation. So I'm going to create a new ad campaign here, and we're going to call it, or a new ad set, we're going to call it Wedding Peeps. I'm going to click continue here. All right, so it's called Wedding Peeps. And what we want to do here is we're going to try to target people that are engaged and who are probably looking for wedding stuff. So it's very simple. I'm going to skip all this budget stuff, and I just want to work with the audience. We're going to create a new audience. And let's say that we are in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the United States, and I'm going to type in Little Rock. Little Rock, Arkansas comes right up. Who knew there was a Little Rock, Mississippi? I don't know if you all saw that, but I saw that. Since Little Rock is probably considered a regional city, I'm actually going to bump the 25 radius up to 50. So now it's going to look at people within a 50-mile radius of Little Rock, Arkansas. Right now, Facebook is telling us that is 850,000 people, which is a pretty big number. So we're going to do a few things. We want all men and women, right? So we're going to leave all, and we're going to do detailed targeting. But what we're going to do is I'm literally just going to type the word engaged and see what comes up. It says relationship status engaged. Boom. You click that, and now our 200 or 690 people goes down to 18,000 people. How sweet is that? Now, let's say that you want to be slick and you only want to target the people who are rich. They're rich. You only want to target those people. You can do that too. Let me show you how. In addition to engaged, I'm literally going to come down here. So in addition to being engaged, you also want them to have money. Let me show you a mistake. Okay. Oh, we got a comment. Hey, we got a comment. We got a comment from Matt Smart. Let's talk about Matt for a little bit. Matt Smart is a wonderful guy with a wonderful family who I worked with, still work with at a company. And I am glad to see you here. Hello, Matt Smart. Welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you being here. His wife does some amazing photography work. So if you are somebody, Matt, if you're live right now and you're watching this, put in the comments a link to your wife's Facebook. Put a link in there, and I'll put it on the broadcast for everybody to see. And I will gladly talk about that for you, because your wife does some amazing photography work, and I'm happy to share it with anybody who's interested. So, Matt, thanks for popping on. I appreciate that. If you have a comment, you can leave a comment too, right in the comments, and we'll be able to pull it up here and show you. Let's talk a little bit more about what we were doing. So one of the common mistakes when you're doing targeting here is people will think that this is an and not an or I'm sorry, they'll think that it's an or and not an and. Let me explain myself. So for those of you that are kind of geeky like me, you understand logic statements, if, then, this, then, and, or, things like that. So basically you're writing a logic statement when you're doing these Facebook ads using this method. What you're saying is, at least at this point, is you're saying that find people who match engaged, but then if I also type people that like NASCAR, I don't know, NASCAR Nation, that's going to find people that are engaged or like NASCAR. It's not going to find people that are engaged and like NASCAR. So what we want to do, if you want to narrow your audience, and that's what we're trying to do here, that's where the and comes in. So it's going to include people who are engaged and must also match blah. So we're going to put in the income, right? I'm literally going to type the word income and check out what comes up. If you didn't think that the world was creepy enough, Facebook knows a lot about everybody, and here we are. We're going to show it. So check it out. What you can do is you can select a specific income bracket and target only to those people. Well, Tom, isn't that unethical? Well, Tom, isn't that unethical? Maybe. Or is it a good business decision, right? We're about to find out. We're about to see what the numbers look like. Well, Tom, where do they get that information? How do they know that the person has that much money? Geez, I don't understand. Well, every year when you file a tax return, that information, not your specific return, but the aggregate data for communities across the United States becomes public knowledge. Anybody has access to this information. You can look it up online. You can see what the median income is in your zip code specifically. So that data is used quite successfully here for Facebook and being able to target specific audiences. So what we're saying is we're looking to find people who are engaged and rich. Might not be a lot of people, but they might live in areas where there's good income, which means the chances of them or their family having a good income is pretty positive. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the tippy top and then work our way down. Usually when we start at the tippy top, there's not as many people and it's not as lucrative. So let's see what happens. So right now, there are 18,000 people in a 50-mile radius of Little Rock, Arkansas, who list engaged on their Facebook profile. Means that they are looking to get married. Means they're looking for vendors. They're looking for wedding vendors. So we're going to say now that we want to limit that to the top 5% of U.S. zip codes. What's that drop us down to? That drops us down to fewer than 1,000 people. So that is too specific. And Facebook even tells you your audience is too specific for your ads to be shown. Try making it broader. So we're not going to say 5%. Let's try the next one up and see what that looks like. Chances are we'll have to go all the way to the very bottom, but it's actually not the bottom. Yep, same thing here. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to skip ahead some steps. You can see what we're doing, and you can play at home if you want. Let's try 10 to 25% of U.S. zip codes. All right, we're getting a little higher. That's 1,100 people. Looks like we're going to have to do the bottom. Is this going to make me a liar here and say that there's not enough people in Little Rock, Arkansas? There we go. Bingo. So now we've taken that 8,000 number that we had, or 18,000 number, 8,100 number. I don't remember what it was. We've literally cut it down to 4,200 people. So what we're saying now is that you are targeting people within a 50-mile radius of Little Rock, Arkansas, between the age of 18 and 65, that are men and women who are engaged, that have a household income that is better than half of the rest of the United States. I think that's pretty darn good. Now you can target those people. There's 4,200 people. Now you can target those people. Isn't that pretty slick? That's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. Who said pretty cool? That's pretty cool. Miley Cyrus. That's pretty cool. Anyway, let's move forward. We've been on the thing here for a bit, so I'm going to show you one more thing and then tell you. Oh, I'm going to tell you about this really cool offer for some free stuff. If you hang with me, I'll share that with you. But let's talk about one more thing. I want to talk about something called a custom audience. Okay, custom audience. Let's show you what this is. This is for people who have a pretty established business. You have a good customer base. You have people that are liking your Facebook page. You have a lot of website visitors, things like that. This is a really, really cool resource for those of you that fit into that category. Those of you that are just starting with this and you're not tremendously familiar, this may not be of good benefit to you, but it's something to take a look at anyway. So by creating a custom audience, you can literally find people who have interacted with your business in one way or another. One of the most popular ways to do this is by clicking on website. And what you can do is actually this takes some explaining, so let me explain this real quick. I want to talk to you about a Facebook pixel and what that is. A Facebook pixel is something that is free. It's available to all business accounts. It is a little teeny tiny piece of code that goes onto your website. Every time somebody visits your website, Facebook gets a little ding, just a notification to Facebook that, hey, this person's visiting this person's website. Remember that for later. The reason Facebook wants to remember that for later is because you can then say, all right, I want you to show this ad to anybody who's been to our website in the last 15 days. Boom. And why is this useful? This is useful because what you can do is you can do something called retargeting. If you're watching this video right now, I will guarantee you that 90% of you that are also Facebook users will see an ad from Lion Global within the next week that says something like, hey, thanks for watching our video the other day. I noticed you didn't, go over to our website, or I noticed you didn't send a message. Why don't you come on back for, we'll help you out. That's called retargeting. People don't like it a lot of times. Some people are like, wow, that's crazy. And other people are like, wow, that's a really good idea. But it's a way to target people that have already been to your website, already watched your videos, already done business with you somehow, as a way to bring them back. One of the other things that you can do with this saved audience thing, or this custom audience thing, is you can upload your list. What do I mean by that? If you have a list of customers, their phone numbers, their email addresses, or maybe you obtained a list of email addresses and phone numbers from somewhere you weren't supposed to. I don't know. You can upload your list of customers that you already do business with to this situation here on Facebook. And Facebook won't tell you whether or not those people are users or not. But what they will do is if they are Facebook users, they will show your ads specifically to those people. How cool is that? That's really cool. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. And yeah. So there are so many more things that I could tell you about Facebook marketing. I try to keep it to an hour here. Looks like it's going to be right about that. We will talk again next week on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. But I do want to talk to you about a free offer. If you have gotten any benefit out of this at all, and you have a small business, I would like to do something for you. I would like to offer you a free one-on-one 30-minute strategy session. You, me, maybe someone else on the team. And we're going to talk about your business specifically. It's free. I'm not going to make you a sales pitch. None of that. If you get value out of what we do together during that, and you like what we do, of course, we can do business together, and we'll talk about that. But this is free. This is completely free. I want to offer you the ability to have a one-on-one conversation about where you're at right now, especially with this COVID thing. And if you did get benefit out of this video at all, I'd love to talk to you one-on-one. If that's something you are interested in, please go to the website, lionglobal.com. There's a little form there you can fill out. Pick a time that works for you. We'll talk over video chat. We'll take a look at your business. We'll take a look at what's going on right now. We'll look at some strategies to kind of plug the hole in the boat and keep you floating. and then get some of that water bailed out of there and increase your revenue through marketing. One of the things that we talk about during that free 30-minute deal is if you decide to do business with us, some people do, some people don't. But if you do, we guarantee a 200%. Anybody got tents? I don't have tents anymore. I haven't been camping in years. We guarantee a 200% return on investment, guaranteed. What that means is whatever you pay us, we don't charge a lot for our consulting services, but whatever you do pay us, we guarantee that you will get that back twofold within 90 days, or you don't pay us to help you, period. That's it. If that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and click on thelionglobal.com. So that's the offer. Facebook targeting. I kind of went on some tangents here because every time I saw something, I wanted to go somewhere else. And the truth is there are so many different directions that you could go with this, and so many different things that can get very specific to your business's needs and wants, that it would literally take hours and hours and hours. And it does. It takes a lot of clients of ours a lot of time to learn. Most of them just say, do it. How much? We'll pay you. Do it. And that's what we do. So that being said, thank you very, very much for joining us on the call. I say us, but it's just me and my crazy hair. Maybe one of these days I'll get a haircut. Really, is there such thing as a medically approved mask wearing come to your house haircut service? That's a business idea. All you fast track watchers and business people who are trying to come up with a great business idea, how about a mobile hair cutter for quarantine times? What? That'd be great. I would probably pay, I'm not lying right now. I would probably pay $50, $60, $70 for a haircut right now. I know. What? That's ridiculous. Do it yourself. Do it myself. It'd be horrible. I would look very, very bad if I did my own haircut. Oh, shave your head. No, not doing that either. I would look like what I look like. I probably look like a big ball of pizza dough if I shave my head. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Come around next week, 8:30. If you got any value of what we offered you and you want some one-on-one help, let us know. Have a good week. Be safe, please. Stay sane. Stay safe. Do whatever they're telling you, because not doing it is just stupid. And let's all see each other on the other side, okay? Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Thanks.